You finally filled up the water thingy.
The froggies in the waddy. Hello, little froggies in the waddy. Stop that.
What?
Turn that off.
Why?
You're wasting water.
It's
It's already been filled. Turn it off. We're not doing that right now.
Oh.
Good Lord.
It's not full yet.
It's been full.
Your blackberries are starting to look better.
Yeah, I know. Leave that alone.
Did you roll your wheelbarrow this way?
Yeah.
I wonder everything's...
That thing's in the way.
Oh, sorry. I asked you, sure you want me to bring my truck home? He's like, you'll be fine. We'll be here to come get you.
So, this is the spot where the city came through and dug up our front yard, and they took the clay layer that was underneath everything and inverted it and put it on top, so we've got this mess. But
sorry.
It's not all bad. Have a look at this. There's some alfalfa struggling in the heat here, and there's a prickly pear cactus that I transplanted. Look at this little guy right here. You know what this one is?
Purslane.
Exactly, yes. Got it in one. That's purslane. Another little baby prickly pear cactus.
Purslane was like the first thing that ever grew here because we had a hard time with this spot. So he put in the wall and dock, and then put a mulch.
Since the city was so uncouth and left the substrate on the surface, we now have to get more soil organic matter in there, and of course keep the soil covered.
Yeah.
So that we don't suffer from erosion.
Oh.
Since we are entering into another great period of drought.
Dust bowl.
And we don't want the dust bowl happening here, so we're going to cover it up with these weeds, which were very conveniently already worked over once by the ducks. We'll let that purslane stay just the way it is.
For the record, if my phone is pointing the wrong way, I can't quite see you. You're in the sun. So I'm doing my best.
You can always go down there and shoot from the side if you want to. This is a little sticky. It's a little bit sticky.
It's duck pooey.
It's got a little duck poo on it.
There we go. Now we can see him.
So,
At least I can see him too.
Yeah, we've got organic matter and some fertilizer going on at the same time.
Oh, cover the mic. Sorry.
And this will help.
See what I mean by this little tugboat?
Huh?
My truck. Can I drive my truck around?
So I got a lot more of this alfalfa here. Hopefully it won't get smothered.
Smothered and covered. Not in a good way.
I would like for it to grow there.
It's kind of the reason why we didn't weed the grass very much through here. It's holding everything down. Or together. Or water retention.
You've got to have living roots in the soil to hold the soil down, to keep it from blowing away, for one. To put sugars down into the soil to feed the microbial life in the soil, for the other.
Yeah, you see those little tiny little plants?
That's a baby.
This will give them some shade.
That's a baby
canna lily?
Canna lily, yeah. They got set back a bit.
A lot. Thanks, City.
There's an amaranth right there. It's a elephant trunk amaranth. Let's see if it looks bigger.
There's some peanuts in there.
Peanut in there, yeah. There's some peanuts in there too. There's another elephant trunk amaranth.
And most you might do with the grass is kind of like maybe take a knife and cut it a little bit and lay it back down. But higher than any clover that we find. I think the city killed the clover. Unless that's what that tiny little stuff is. It looks like it's struggling. Might be a little bit of clover. Ooh. It's sticky.
So there's a little bit trying to bounce back right down here.
I was hoping.
Yeah.
It's struggling.
So this space here, once again, has this wood chip.
Yeah, it's a trench.
And there's a trench under it, just like there is in the back.
And he did that before the city did that. So we're hoping that might help that. Cause
even so, it wasn't enough to save that pear tree there. Apparently its roots were going right into, the bulk of its roots were going right into where the city cut.
Where'd that fire blight got it?
And it didn't make it.
Yeah, avoid Bradford pears. They give fire blight.
Some more. These out. Somewhere around here I've got something that I think I need to weed around, otherwise it's going to have issues getting choked.
If you can find it. It's still in there.
It's still in there.
What is it?
It is
Brussels sprouts?
It's a shrub layer plant that I've got right here.
Oh, the Yopon holly. It's still alive.
Still alive. Yeah, it's a Yopon holly.
There used to be 2 of them.
Yeah.
One died.
I made the error of ordering these up to arrive during the dormant period for deciduous plants.
Because deciduous is a...
Deciduous is one that loses its leaves during the winter. It has a dormant period.
But this one is
but
a...
the Yopon holly is an evergreen. It doesn't have a dormant period.
So we should have went with summer?
I ordered them up to arrive in the middle of winter.
Like a normal tree.
Like a normal tree. It didn't take kindly.
Because we were ordering them from the southern hemisphere?
No, they're being ordered from, I can't recall where off the top of my head. A company that should have known better than to ship it during the time of year that it shipped, but then again,
Maybe it just wasn't
I
paying...
should have known better than to order it at that time.
Well, they may not have been paying attention to where you technically lived, so they're like, I guess he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, if somebody ordered a plant for me out of season, I would hope that I would put a note in there, keep this indoors until the appropriate time to plant it.
Right.
But
that's why I want a fridge. A fridge is just a fridge. But I have no room for a fridge. It's just a fridge.
But this is not really the greatest place on earth for Yopon holly.
They grow some Yopon holly.
What, maybe 3 or 4 years old? That's all the bigger it's gotten.
Remember, I think it was in Bank of America and Broken Arrow, and they had a Yopon holly tree.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Well, they've got one sitting in front of the courthouse downtown in Tulsa.
Oh yeah, that one's a big one too.
It's been there for
forever.
For a long, long time, and it's most likely a different subspecies, different cultivar.
Lamb's quarter.
Lamb's quarters, they can get picked over by ducks.
But they were in the way of other stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to say other weeds. We need to come through and weed this.
I don't know if you want to weed that or just give it a little trim, like a haircut, so that way the roots stay in the ground.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Maybe in a minute. Want to go cool off?
Since I don't have anything to fill that gap right there at the moment, yeah, I probably will want to just cut it back and make sure it doesn't go to seed.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on.
And cool off? Yep.
Let that thing run again. Okay, so remember I told you just leave them alone, they'll come out on their own. Have a look. And see where they went?
The clean pool?
They went to the clean pool. Yeah, they prefer to have clean water. They'll use any water they can get, but they prefer it clean.
Yeah.
So everybody tries to tell you that ducks prefer their water nasty simply because they foul it up at the first opportunity. It's not true. They prefer it clean. They just foul it up at the first opportunity.
There they are. Here's your duckiness. I can't see them. They're little panickers. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to locate their ramp. There's always that one duck is like, what? He's probably one of the older ducks. That's probably one of the older ducks. He's one of the older ones. I think he's older. We have two, they're like half of, okay, they're like a few months older. But in duck months, that's a lot older. Not for the fun part. Oh. Poo pants. Haha.
Yeah, water weighs about 8 pounds per gallon, so 2 5-gallon buckets.
Wow, look at those handles.
40 pounds a piece.
Look at those handles about to pull out.
Just like carrying your water to your livestock in the middle of winter, whenever it's full of duck food, you kind of want to keep them out from the side so they don't squash on you. That can get nasty. Careful of that.
Mushrooms. Check for the froggies. They're pretty quick. Okay, the ground's finally getting soft and wet right here. Okay, I watered the blackberries, right? When we watered the blackberries, it all runs off into the driveway with a little more material. So if I water here, The water will stay for a little while. Flying insects will get their drinks, so will the frogs. Oh yeah, flying insects just love this. Look at those wasps and hornets. They're like all buddies. I'm like the lion at the watering hole. They're ignoring me. Like, yeah, screw you. If you were hungry, you would have eaten this by now. Oh, but the mint smells great. That wadi is working really good. The flying insects are just loving it.
Huh?
The flying insects
are
just loving it. And hopefully that will help water the blackberry. So if I just water the blackberry, because it's so close to that retaining wall, it'll kind of...
So you use the water, let the water soak into the soil slowly over time and saturate the soil. Keeps the soil alive, and hopefully it keeps everything else alive.
Right. And then we'll water some of these things while they're in the shade. Like that guy. Have the fun just chasing frogs with water. Yeah, I hope water. It's more like chasing frogs with water. Pardon the AC. And the grapes. I'm worried about the grapes. Last bucket. Unless he does the other pull. The looks of his shirt, I don't think he's going to do the other pull.
Huh?
Hi.
Hi.
We're just talking about you.
Usually I do this earlier in the morning whenever it's not quite so bright out.
Somebody forgot to turn on their alarm. This is the section where he did the wadi thing. And if you remember that video, he was pulling out big clumps of clay. Oh, soil amendment. This is the area where he did soil amendment because it was literally... Okay, like the pear tree dying right there is not a surprise because this whole area had to be soil amended. I think it's like sticking a fork in the ground and dropping in, I think, gypsum. I'm going to say charcoal. This is where the soil amendment video came from, right?
Which one?
The one with the bunches of clay that come out and you throw it in your wheelbarrow and it goes dong.
Yeah, this is where the big chunks of clay were coming out.
They were like fucking, duping boulders. Did I say F word? Run! Go in the shade. It says 4 o'clock. Great for frogs. I think that's the last bucket. I'm mouthing. And we can turn off the water. Alright, smell you later.